City Boys. In our last episode, Robert had crawled up into the Purple Cow to find the you-know-what, because he and Richard had hitchhiked up US 340 with a mysterious man in a black coat and hat. About the time Robert slowly climbed up the secret entrance of the Purple Cow, the sounds of a siren erupted. Next thing you know, the police car pulled up to the cow, and Mama ran up to the cow, and the policeman pulled out his pistol and pointed it at the mysterious man. About that time, the Doom's Fire Department showed up and ran a ladder up to the Purple Cow. The ladder had a chainsaw rigged, or shall we say, attached to the ladder, that the Doom's Fire guys were calling the utter jaws of life. Let's go back and see what happened. Okay, guys, turn it on!
Mama! Mama! Calm down, honey. They're gonna save you.
The sound hurt my ears. There were sparks flying as the saw hit the purple metal. The head of the Purple Cow suddenly tilt forward as the saw cut deeper into the glowing purple metal.
Mama! Help me!
Finally, there was a creaky metal sound, and then...
Timber!
Oh, glory be.
The Purple Cow head fell toward the ground and started rolling towards 340. A surge of bats were coming out of the secret entrance at the bottom of the pole.
Okay, boys, move the ladder towards the hole!
About that time, Robert appeared at the hole of the cow, just in front of the udder. He seemed to have some things in his hands. He threw some out the hole, and they floated to the bottom. One landed at my foot. I looked down. It was,
Okay, kid, the man's gonna help you on the ladder.
I love you, Robert. I love you, Mama.
It was a $100 bill. And more $100 bills were falling at my feet. It looked like hundreds of $100 bills. Robert came down the ladder with the firemen. A crowd had gathered and applauded as he touched the bottom. The Purple Cow head just sat there lonely at the ditch right beside US 340.
Robert?
Mama, Richard made me do it. I swear, he told me to do it.
Mama! Mama!
Just wait. You just wait until you get home.
And now, the final episode ever, we think, of the Basic City Boys in the Purple Cow situation. Sponsored by Stone Soup Books and Cafe, home of the revived Purple Hamburger Special, we think.
You just wait. You just wait until you get home.
I mean, how many 8-year-old kids get to ride in the back of a police car on the way home, huh? Robert was still crying next to me. Mama was sitting in the front seat with the policeman. You could see the local kids looking at us as we drove through Basic City towards the house. It doesn't take long for gossip to get around in Basic City. Just about every house has a scanner in it. The scanners are especially busy on Saturday night, since we are only a few miles from Crime Mora.
And when your dad gets home, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you what. You've got another thing coming, young men.
Why does she always say, I tell you one thing, and I tell you what? It never finishes a sentence. And exactly what is another thing coming?
Mama, I told you. Richard made me do it.
Mama, I didn't.
You just wait. Both of you. You just wait.
The police car pulled up at the driveway. The light was on in the kitchen, and Dad's '52 Chevy was right in front of us. Maybe we really were going to find out what another thing coming was.
Mama, tell Daddy not to hit us. Just tell him to hit Richard. He did everything.
Mama, he's...
Both of you hush right now, and I mean it.
Mama thanked the policeman for the ride, and we got out and slowly headed toward the outside kitchen door. But that wasn't the half of it, because 2 weeks later, for no apparent reason, we were in...
Order! I said order in the court. Bailiff, go ahead.
On the 19th day of June, 1958, the city of Waynesboro versus Robert and Richard Yancey, alias the Basic City Boys, and Walter Russell of the University of Science and Philosophy.
Dr. Russell, would you take the stand, please? Dr. Russell, would you state your full name, occupation, and where you live?
My name is Walter Russell. I'm a mystic of sort, and I reside at Swananoa.
The crowd was awestruck. Most of them had only heard of Walter Russell. Now this man, in a black suit, with a purple, yes, a purple tie, and long black boots over his black pants, was actually speaking in front of us.
Dr. Russell, can you tell us what you know about the money that was in the udder of the Purple Cow?
Why, yes, I can. I used to go to the Purple Cow restaurant with my wife Leo to get a hot dog and banana split. We'd heard from several other mystics that the Purple Cow hot dogs and banana splits were supposed to raise the spirits. And I personally think that hot dogs and banana splits at the Purple Cow restaurants do raise the spirits.
You could hear a pin drop as Walter Russell spoke. His wife Leo sat over in the corner brushing her long gray hair. She was wearing a floor-length mink coat. A floor-length gray mink coat, I kid you not, that matched her floor-length gray hair.
So, Dr. Russell, what does this have to do with the money?
Well, one day a young man came up to Swananoa and told me he wanted to be a lawyer one day. He said his family didn't have a lot of money, so I said, I'll give you the money, but you must hide it in a secret place, a purple place, because purple is the color of the spiritual, and therefore it is my favorite color. So this young man sought out a purple place and came back and told me about the Purple Cow. I sent some of my workers in the night to make a secret door at the top of the Purple Cow and told them to put the money in the udder for good fortune.
The crowd was absolutely silent as Walter Russell spoke until...
Mama, when do we get to go home? That man scares me.
Shh, Robert.
Order in the court. Who's that talking back there?
Robert, you're gonna get us in trouble. Be quiet.
Young man in the back.
Oh my God, Zilla. He was looking at me.
Young man, if you don't behave, I'm going to have you thrown in the slammer.
All I heard was a gulp, and I got very quiet. Mama just glared at me.
So, Dr. Russell, could you tell me the name of this young man?
Sir, I'm sworn to secrecy.
How'd you like to be sworn to secrecy in an 8x8 cell?
Oh, well, in that case, his name was John Curry.
John Curry's mother screamed and passed out in the back of the room. Little John Curry ran out of the room. The crowd went nuts.
I said order! 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 Order in the court!
Things finally calmed down, and the judge said he was going to take a day to make a ruling. So the next day, we're back in court. It seemed like the entire town of Basic City was in the courtroom. The Basic City diner even closed for a couple of hours so the employees could come.
All rise while Judge Coffey enters the room.
Please be seated.
He looked right at Robert and me.
Young men, if I ever, and I mean ever, hear of you two hitchhiking again, I'm personally going to make you do 1,000 push-ups and clean up all the dead fish in the South River. You got that, fellas?
And then I looked over and Robert stood up. I thought he was going to the bathroom when...
Yes, sir, Judge Coffey, and I promise that I'll make Richard do this also, since he caused all of this to start with.
And to you, little John Curry, I hope you become a lawyer one day, and you have to put up with silly cases like this.
John just held his head down and covered his face with his hands. But it kind of looked like he was giggling behind his shaking hands.
And since Dr. Russell didn't show up today because he said it's the 20th of June, and apparently that's National Hot Dog and Banana Split Spirit Day, I rule that the money, $660,000, shall go in a fund. And if there happens to be a non-profit organization 55 years from today, bailiff, when will that be?
The bailiff got out a pencil and paper and started doing the math.
Your Honor, that will be Friday, June 20th, 2014.
Then the $660,000 shall go to that organization. In the meantime, I'm calling this case closed.
Then he looked at his watch.
Pardon me, folks. I need to leave. I promised my wife that I'd take her to see some movie called South Pacific. It just came out and it's playing down the street at the Wayne Theater.
So we went home that night, and Dad took us to the Purple Cow restaurant. We had hot dogs and banana splits. And ever since then, when I get down to the dumps, I'll go get myself a hot dog and a banana split. It's good for the spirits, you know.
And that concludes the Basic City Boys in the Purple Cow situation. Sponsored by the Wayne Theater Alliance, $660,000 away from opening up in 2014. The Purple Cow University of Science and Philosophy Hot Dog and Banana Split Foundation, John Curry, and Walter and Leo Russell Memorial Fountain, and of course, as always, Stone Soup Books and Cafe. Working